Hello, fellow mutants. Welcome back to another video. And apparently, Ridley Daisy, as I nearly called her, Daisy Ridley thinks a return as Rey would be amazing. So let's give this a go, shall we? Lucasfilm has been having a bit of a renaissance with the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus and seems to have gone back to the drawing board with their film projects. Some of the series that they've released so far are The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Andor. With some of them having been received very well, but their recent film have been given a opposite treatment, like Rise of Skywalker. Like Star Wars Last Skywalker, The Last Skywalker. Rey isn't the last Skywalker. The last Skywalker was Kylo Ren before he essentially sacrificed himself to revive Rey. When that happened, the last Skywalker died. Rey is the last Palpatine that we are aware of. Unless if Luke had a kid and we don't know about, there's no more Skywalkers in the galaxy after the sequel trilogy wraps up. That or if the Han and Leia had another kid that we didn't know about and they are in hiding. Because technically, like, even though their last name would be Solo, they're still technically a Skywalker. Because of Leia. Anyways, the Rise of Skywalker star Daisy Ridley has moved on from the franchise and appeared in several films since then. But it seems like she would return to the galaxy far, far away. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Ridley opened up about how she openly felt like she was going to screw up Star Wars and that it would be amazing if Rey Palpatine returned. Quote unquote, on the third film, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, I was very present. On the first two, I was like, oh my god, they chosen the wrong person. Oh my god, I'm going to screw it all up. Oh my god, oh my god. And then by the third one, I had a little time to pause. I still had moments of feeling like, oh my god, I'm terrible. But I also knew that I worked really hard and felt it was in the right, very safe environment with a lot of people that I already knew. So I felt very comfortable, and I really made an effort to be present every day. And it was my favorite filming experience for that reason, because I was really taking in everything, and none of the joy and excitement had gone. So I felt like I could breathe a little easier. I mean, I love all of them, but it was really nice to really be in my body for the last film experience. Honestly, I have no idea. I feel like Rey's story ended in a wonderful way. The last film. It had already been an insane 3 years since the film came out. I feel like quite a different person. We've all gone through a massive change in the last 3 years, with lots of crazy things happening. So I really don't know if there's any plans. I just don't know. But ultimately, I loved my experience. I loved what I got to do, and I loved the people I got to work with. So should that happen again, even once, amazing. Because the dream is to really be around nice people that makes you feel good and heard while you do good work. Now I'll say this before. Actually, no, I'll save my overall thoughts till the end. Andor is the most recent Star Wars series to hit Disney Plus. Diego Luna returns as one of the most interesting characters in the Star Wars universe, Cassian Andor. Back in May, comicbook.com's Brandon Davis got the chance to speak with Andor's sledding man during Star Wars Celebration, and he reveals that after watching Andor, you won't believe that Rogue One, a Star Wars story, was possible. And he says the only thing I can say is you're going to see where he was the 5 years before Rogue One, and you're not going to believe Rogue One was possible. That's the idea, to see the transformation and an awakening. I can't tell you how I can't tell you how that will be represented. You have to wait until the 31st of August. But it is about that, and it's about how much we're all capable of changing and transforming. And that's the beauty of storytelling. So many times you start knowing the end. Here you know what happens. It's not about like, this happened? No, no, no. It's how it happened that matters. It's about the little details and what's in between lines. And every layer of the character, even though we are on a very epic kind of show and a huge spy adventure show, we're going to have time for intimacy. You're going to go deep into the character and the people around him. It's going to be interesting, I think, and it's going to be a dark and fun, different from what you all see out there. So we got like this drastic turn in this article. From Daisy really thinking that returning to Rey would be amazing to how Diego Luna felt and feels about Andor and the Andor series. Which I won't really like give. I mean, I'm happy that Diego Luna feels that way about Andor. I can't wait for the second season. I really enjoy the show. I think Andor is a show that I recommend Andor because I think it honors essentially what comes before and after, and doesn't shit on anything pre-established. Going back to Rey though, what I was going to say before was the sequel trilogy is a hot mess. I'm in the camp where I'm not exactly a huge fan of the sequel trilogy, but there's like one story that they can tell that makes sense to have Rey and Finn and potentially Poe in. And that is what I've been saying for the last who knows how long. Have a miniseries of Rey training Finn to be a Jedi first, right? And try and find her place in the universe while doing that. And then have the second show be Finn getting trained to be a Jedi from Rey and finding his way in the universe, right? And you potentially a third show with Poe, if you guys want. Him being a Han Solo Jr. But essentially, regardless if you have the full show or not, have those shows connect. Well, of course they're going to connect, but have those shows set up the stage for miniseries that's led by Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and how they have built up the Jedi Order from since Kylo Ren practically destroyed the last Jedi Order. Luke Skywalker's Jedi Order. That's the only direction I can see that can potentially make sense involving the trio from the sequel trilogy. And you can have Chewbacca in the story. You can have like Billy D. Williams making a cameo here and there. Because he's still around. And Lando Calrissian is about the only original trilogy character that we've seen that hadn't been killed off. I mean, him and Mon Mothma, but unless if they go to Coruscant, I can't really see Mon Mothma being the idea per se. I mean, yes, he could, but like I said, they'll have to go to Coruscant because at this time she's the Chancellor. But yeah, so would I be up for Rey's come back potentially if they play their cards right, honor what came before. Like, I know that might sound weird with some fans, but and opening up a possibility for like maybe not Daisy Ridley if she doesn't want to, but like the character of Rey to come back in future stories. Because the cool part about Star Wars, it has like 4 anime shows that are canon: Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Rebels, and Resistance. Resistance is not a bad show, but keep with me. Those 4 shows, not all the original, and Tales of the Jedi, so 5. Not all of the the actors who played the characters came back to do their respective roles in the cartoon. I mean, sure, Frank Oz returned to play Yoda in the Clone Wars movie, and same did Samuel Jackson with Mace Windu in the Clone Wars movie. But in terms of shows, you got Oscar Isaac reprising his role as Poe Dameron in Resistance. We got Billy D. Williams coming back as Lando in Rebels. Liam Neeson coming back as Qui-Gon in Clone Wars. And what else? Clone Wars and Tales of the Jedi. So, and as far as I'm aware, those are like really the only 3 actors that reprised their roles in animated. And potentially Anthony Daniels in Rebels. My point is, like, with Anakin, Obi-Wan, Palpatine... Oh, Ian McCormick did reprise Palpatine in Rebels too, but not in Clone Wars. The characters that we saw in the movies, for the most part, the actors didn't come back to reprise their roles. We can still have like adventures of Rey, Finn, and Poe with people voice acting those characters. We don't need the OG characters or actors come back exactly. But, and I'm partially bringing that up because we have Galaxy's Edge, right? Star Wars is losing money essentially with that. I feel like, in terms of, and I mean by like, they could be making more money than they are at Galaxy's Edge, especially if they want to center around the sequel trilogy, right? I think it would have been better if they just like centered Galaxy Edge in all 3 trilogies, like the original plan was. But for me, in my opinion, since we're in the sequel trilogy timeline, create new stories in the sequel trilogy era. Create new characters, so that way, if the Disney parks want to incorporate those characters into the parks, they can, and if they do it right, those characters can be beloved. Because the only thing that I can see them characters that we can get that was in the movies that show was like Kaz from Resistance, but that show was not too good or well received, which is why I only had 2 seasons. But still, you guys get what I mean. We make more content in the sequel trilogy timeline, so that we can have more characters than just Rey, Kylo Ren, the characters that were in the sequel trilogy. That's just me. Because at this point, Disney's just wasting their money if they don't. And like, what is the point of even buying Disney? I mean, buying Star Wars if you're not going to utilize the sequel trilogy timeline? I'm happy they are utilizing the High Republic timeline, but anyways, point is, I'm hoping for seeing Daisy really return as Rey. I'm hoping for Rey returning. I hope they treat like she has a better character development in whatever future movie or show or game that they bring her in than she did in the sequel trilogy, because I feel like Rey's character didn't progress as much as it should have and could have. So that's just moi. What do you people think? beautiful people think. Let me know in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. And may the force be with us all.